Hello everyone, this is Damon coming to you from the Mayor's office here at City Hall in Madison. And you know, it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to spend some time with you, so I appreciate you taking time to view this video. I just want to talk about a couple of things that the city's been dealing with and the council, and kind of give you an update on what we're doing and where we'll be going over the next few weeks and months. First thing I want to talk to you about is, I'm sure you've been reading in the paper and hearing on the news about our budget meetings. This past week we met with the council and did some preliminary budget work on our 2013 budget for the city. Monday evening we had representatives from different organizations here in town that the city has traditionally helped fund over the past years. So they came in Monday evening and made some presentations. Tuesday evening we honed in on our departments. Our department heads were there and had done some preliminary work on their budgets for 2013. So we really honed in on the city budget outside of organizations on Tuesday evening. Understand these were just preliminary meetings so that we could give the council and the public an update on what we were looking at. Our city budget liaison, Bob Cook, worked with Bill Cobb out of the Treasurer's office and our department heads, and we wanted to make sure we had things covered over 2013. So we'll be looking at all those figures in a couple of working sessions that we'll be giving you a heads up on here very shortly. Those working sessions will be toward the end of August, but we'll give everyone a heads up on those dates. And then we'll begin to really fine-tune the figures for the budget, and we'll move toward bringing those to the council in our regular meetings probably sometime in September. They will have to go through 3 readings just like any other ordinance would, and hopefully to have that budget for 2013 passed in October. So that's kind of the plan for the budgets. We believe things are going real well, and believe me, you know, revenues have fallen off the last few years, but we feel like that if we're comparing ourselves to some of the other cities our size, we feel like we're in pretty good shape, but we can always move forward and do better. So the other thing that's been in the news, obviously, for the last 3 or 4 months is the mayor's economic development review panel that we put together back in February and March. They spent 3 months just kind of looking at all different aspects of how we do economic development here in Madison, and came up with some recommendations that were presented to me at the end of June. And well, the first thing I wanted to do was send the message out that this is not just a city issue as far as economic development is concerned. It's a total city-county proposition. So what we've been doing over the last few weeks is city and county elected officials have been getting together and looking at these recommendations as far as economic development is concerned, and beginning to come up with some ideas on how to move forward as a city-county joint relationship here. We plan on coming up with a joint statement probably within the next week, so be looking for that. We're very excited about where we're going. Something that people need to understand is that these are recommendations, and although there are some great ones there, you have to fit these recommendations into our culture and our economic situation here in Madison. So, and I think another thing people get confused on is that all we're talking about in these recommendations is just bringing in new industry. That's just a part of economic development here in Madison. And if we're realistic about it, that's probably going to be down the list a little bit in priority. Now, don't take me wrong on that, but what I wanted to talk about and what we've been talking about is kind of a 5-year plan that has been kind of spurred by these recommendations, and there's a lot of good ones here. But here again, when you're looking at change, you got to make sure that you're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I know that's a phrase that's used a lot, but it really means a lot in this situation. So we've been talking about kind of a 5-year focus. There's some areas that the panel brought out, and we've been talking about too. We've got 4 areas here of emphasis for focus for us to focus on over the next few years. Number 1 is workforce development. We're being told that we've got jobs here in our area that we don't have qualified people to fit into. So, and there's already some groundwork laid for that in our ECHO 15 program and our workforce development program too. But the thing is, we got to get our people that are coming out of high school here and college ready for what we have available now. And that's a situation most people don't understand. They just feel like you throw jobs out there, you know, people will fill them. Well, that's not the case right now. We've got jobs available in a lot of our factories, but we don't have the people qualified to do them. So we feel like that's one of the highest priorities as far as economic development over the next few years. Retention and expansion. We've got some wonderful industries, manufacturing and retail business here. We want to make sure that we're meeting their needs, and as they grow, we want them to grow here in our community. So retention and expansion is a top priority. Tourism and recreation. I talk about Madison being the most beautiful riverfront town, not just in Indiana, but in America. I truly believe that. And the emphasis over the next few years, I believe, is going to be on riverfront development. And we've got a lot of different groups working on that. We're going to try to come together and really hone in on that. Obviously, we've got a beautiful historic town. Tourism, people come in for that. So we want to make sure that our focus is in that area. We need to, I think a consensus is, we need to figure out where Madison fits in as far as a market for economic development. And then we want to go after those type of businesses. We want to be ready for all of these areas and have the processes in place to do it. But let's be realistic. We got to figure out where we are as a city, and we're doing a lot of good things, but we can do better. And then 4th, we talk about new business attraction. Obviously, we want to be open when the opportunity comes for a new business to come in here. It doesn't have to be a manufacturing plant with 100, 200, 300 jobs. Hopefully that will happen, and we'll definitely go after that. But we need to make sure that we're also looking at the small businesses that might want to come to our area, you know, that will maybe provide 5 jobs to begin with, or 10 jobs. We want to be open for all of that. So new business attraction is sometimes all people think about. They think that if you're not bringing in these big manufacturers that we're not moving forward with economic development. That's not always the case. So I wanted to kind of give you an update on where we're headed. Be looking in the media over the next week or two. We'll be talking about some important dates. I talked about a joint statement that the city and county will be coming out with here shortly. Our plan is to bring a couple of directors of economic development from a couple of other cities, not necessarily to add to what these recommendations are, but to take a look at these recommendations and say, how can we implement some of these changes in the best way possible, because their cities have gone through some changes like this. So we'll be looking for those announcements down the road. Other than that, we've had some great festivals already. We've got Love Out Loud coming up in a week or two, and then we've got obviously the Riverfest Festival, and then Chautauqua coming up in September. In between, we've got a lot of great things going on in our town, so thanks for spending some time with me. We'll see you next time.